Welcome to this video number 5, the last in the series on true happiness and how to achieve it. How your neg-emo, which is equal to your unhappiness, pain, and suffering in life. Remember, the only unhappiness, pain, and suffering in life is your own negative emotions. It's not the events of the circumstances of your life. And those events and circumstances do not cause your negative emotions. I know it looks like it does, but that's the illusion. That's the fatal hallucination. So we want to see how these negative emotions really works, and therefore the first step on how to achieve true happiness. Okay, reminder. You are a non-physical, spiritual, life energy entity comprised of consciousness and will. Okay, you are aware will. The technical term for this globe of consciousness and will that you are, it's a sphere, it's a globe, it's a field, however you want to call it, is Psycanics. Now, religions can call it your spirit, your soul, many things, okay? But it's a unit or a sphere of consciousness and will, and that's the very basis of what you are. Now, there are many more qualities that you have. For example, you are also made of love and joy and wisdom, okay? But as a human being, you have these suppressed. You have these counter-created. This is a long story that you will find in Psycanics, and even more in depth in essentiality, which is scientific spirituality. Just what you need to know right now is that you are this will and consciousness, okay, and you have a subconscious that has all your psychanic energies, your emotional charge masses, okay, around you. And this subconscious that is out of your conscious perception is all your memories, all your personality, your character, everything, your knowledge, everything you've studied, the recordings of your past, all your things that you have lived in the past. Okay, that's your subconscious space is packed with energies, with these psychanic realities of all types. Now, obviously, if all of that stuff was coming in on you at one time, you would be just lost in so much energy, on thoughts and memories and knowledge that you'd be out of control. So all these things are blocked back out, and they come up. If you want to remember the face of your mother, well, you put your will into that, and that energy, that reality, that picture, it's a mental picture composed of energy, will come out of your subconscious, and in your mind there you can see the face of your mother, or that tree in that house, or recall a childhood friend. Okay, and in the same way, okay, all your traumas are also energy recordings in your subconscious. Like if you were bit by a dog now, and you see a dog, and boom, there comes this charge of fear and anxiety. You may not even remember your problem, your trauma with that dog. But you see a dog and there's the anxiety. And behind that there's a memory that you've forgotten, what we call a traumatic memory. Okay? So many times we go through life and we see things and it sparks a fear or an anger, or we feel bad, low self-esteem, I'm not good enough. Okay? So all the time these types of things are getting triggered by things in our present time. And we may or may not remember the incident where we first had that experience or first created that charge. We may only feel the negative emotion. Okay, like something happens in your life and you're not even conscious of what, but you feel depressed or you feel that life is meaningless. So all the time we have this huge subconscious of all these realities, okay? A reality is any form of energy. So reality, energy, and experience, these are almost synonyms, okay? So we got all of our realities, memories, knowledge, our personality, characters, likes, dislikes, values, our religion, our politics, all these ideas and all these emotional energies, okay? They're all in the subconscious. and something happens in our present time, and it comes in a memory, or it comes in a dislike, or it comes in a fear or anxiety or anger all the time, these things are getting triggered. They can be triggered because we use our will, because I want to remember that. I want to remember what pi is. It's 3.14, or the formula for this, or what I did with my bank account, what it's supposed to be. Okay, I can use my will to trigger and bring in these things, but also they get triggered just by the nature of life all the times themselves, okay? And this is what's happening with our negative emotions, okay? They get triggered by things like anger. Remember, I told you that behind all anger, there is a frustrated goal or desire. And you can find that, okay? You have a problem with some person, go into it, go into your anger, and identify, okay, teaching out, what is it exactly here that I want from this person I can't get them? I want them to do this, I want them to listen, I want them to understand, I want them to cooperate, I want them to give me something, I want them to love me, accept me, I don't know, okay? In other words, what you want is irrelevant. It's the experience of wanting and not being able to get that will activate anger, okay? So behind all anger, there is what we call anti-power. The I can't get what I want. Okay? So I want you to understand now that you are this will that can call up things from your subconscious. Okay? And your subconscious is full of energies that can come into your conscious where you can experience them and you recall them. It's memory or feelings. Right? But at the same time, life itself will trigger these things and push them in on you, especially your strong emotional charges, which come from childhood traumatic events. Now, from the point of view of an adult, it might not be traumatic. It might be you couldn't get an ice cream when you wanted it, okay? But from the point of the child, not getting ice cream when they want it can be a trauma, okay? So this is how your experience works, and you are the will that can bring these things in. You are the consciousness that experiences them. And then you have a subconscious, which is a much larger space that's full of all of these energies, all of your emotions, positive and negative, all of your identities, your self-esteem, your self-image, your motivations, your behaviors, your compulsions, your addictions, the way you handle relationships, the way you communicate, which is all individual to you. All of this stuff here is programmed. It's energies in your subconsciousness that act upon you to produce your experience and your behaviors and your values and everything going on. Okay? So I'm trying to communicate to you here how your being works. It's a center of will that controls energies, a center of experience, your area of consciousness, your experience, and then a vast subconsciousness of many, many energies and programs and emotions and thoughts. It's just full of energy. Okay. So you, Psychan, live in two universes. Okay? Your interior private world of all your transphysical, your psychanic energies and experience, thoughts and emotions, feelings, desires, okay? All of this here, this we call your poo, okay? Your psychanic universe, okay? It contains here your subconsciousness, and as we said, this subconsciousness is full of energies, okay? It's just packed with energies. Memories, values, thoughts, knowledge, values, likes, dislikes, everything that makes you a unique human being with a unique personality and character and a unique past history of experiences. Okay, all of that is programmed in here because as Psychans, we are all the same. We are all these spiritual sons of the Creator, daughters of the Creator. That is this globe of consciousness and aware will and the other properties of creativity and intuition and love and joy. And there's 13 other major characteristics that the Psychan has. Okay? So, but as Psychans, we were all very similar. It's only this subconscious shell of energy that makes us a human being, gives us the experience, the illusion of being only a human being, and programs for us our individuality, personality and characters, and gives us our mind and our emotions. Okay, so we call all of that your psychanic universe. And you're living in that in the same way that your body is living in this physical universe. In the same way that your physical universe here is packed with furnitures and trees and houses and streets and cars. It's full of realities and energies, light and heat. Okay? All of those are realities. All of those are forms of energy. Your physical universe is full of energies and realities. In the same way, your psychanic universe is also full of energies and realities. Most of them are outside of your consciousness at any time, just as most things in the physical universe are out of your consciousness at any time. Because in the physical universe, all that you see or hear in a moment is very small compared to the entirety of the planet. Okay? You can say that China right now it's out of your perception, out of your experience, if you're in the United States or not in China, basically. Okay, so observe that the two universes are parallel in their basic functioning laws. All of them consist of an infinity of realities, of masses and forms of energy, and you are in the middle of them, and you can perceive or experience only a little bit of each universe at any given time. Okay, so you live literally in two worlds, a non-physical or psychanic world of all thoughts and emotions, personality, character, motivations, compulsions, addictions, everything going on in your experience that is not physical. And then you are plugged into a body, into a brain, okay? And through that body and its five senses, you can perceive and manipulate the physical universe. Okay? So you live literally in two universes. And they're both legal. They both function according to exact laws and principles of how energy works. They're not the same laws in each universe, but they're both lawful, legal universes. Okay? So both universes here are full of energies, okay, of realities. A reality is any form of energy. A tree is a reality, a house is a reality, a thought is a reality, anger is a reality. These are realities, okay? They're forms of energy creating objects which then cause experience. Okay? So here is you, the psyche. Here's your psychanic universe. And then down here we have your body and your physical universe. Okay? Your psychanic universe is your interior private world of all that you know, think, and feel, past and present. Okay? Here again is the subconscious of this, that we call this all this space, that's just outside of your perception, your experience, that is your consciousness. Because remember, consciousness is a field of energy in which you can perceive anything that comes there. Think of your consciousness like a spider web. Okay, and you are like the spider in the middle. Anything that touches your spider web, you know it's there, okay, because it vibrates your web. Your web is like a field of consciousness. So when a thought comes into the field of consciousness, you, in the center of it, experience it. Actually, you are the web, but we'll just say that you're the spider in the middle, okay? It comes in an emotional charge, and there's the anger. And you're vibrating with that anger. Your consciousness is Texas, and you experience it as anger. Okay? Do you know that spiders can tell what kind of insects have come into their web? They know how big it is and often exactly what kind it is. So your consciousness is like a spider web where anything that touches or comes into its area, you experience that. Okay? So the subconscious part of your psychanic universe, your poo, is full of these transphysical, metaphysical, non-physical energies that give you spirit psyche, that is the aware will, a unit, your unique human identity and experiences. Okay? So here in your subconsciousness are your memories, your knowledge, your thoughts, your beliefs, your values, your traumas, any PTSD, your addictions, your goals, your behaviors, your likes, dislikes, your culture, Are you Japanese or American or Mexican or German? Your culture is a programming, and that exists here in your subconsciousness. Identity is self-image, self-esteem, personality, character, motivations, to name a few. Okay, that is your psychanic universe, and it's full of realities, just like the physical universe is full of realities. Okay? All of these realities are forms of energy or energy forms. Realities act upon consciousness to cause experience. Okay? So here there's a memory right here, and this, when it moves into your consciousness, then you experience that memory. Okay? While it's here, it's in your subconscious and it's out of experience. Okay? But when something gets either triggered or you call it forth from your subconscious with your will, this comes into consciousness, and you can experience it. You feel that things that are in this area. Okay? I'm describing how realities, subconscious, consciousness, and experience, and also your will work to control and create your experience, your non-physical or psychanic experience. Okay? So among all your subconscious realities, remember we said this area here is full of realities, are your negative emotional charge any masses. That is, charges or masses of negative emotions. We're going to call these neg-emo masses, okay? And the abbreviation for that is NEM. Okay, these are your NEMs. All right, so here are these NEMs from your childhood, all these feelings and emotions and stuff that you experienced and created at one time, okay? And instead of discreting them, you didn't know how to discrete as a child, obviously, they receded into your subconsciousness, okay? They were in your experience, okay? You were angry as a child at one time, no? And they didn't give you what you want, and you cried a while, and then it kind of went down. Well, that anger energy didn't go away. It went back into your subconsciousness, just like any memory. Like remembering the tree or your mother or whatever. It was created. It was a reality. It was a mass of anger, okay, that got created, and you were experiencing it. And it didn't just disappear off into the atmosphere, okay? What it did was it receded from your consciousness or experiences into your subconsciousness, where it's been ever since. Okay? Now, so in the fatal hallucination, which is the illusion that external things cause my psychanic experience, that external things make me suffer, they cause my negative emotions, the person believes that trigger events cause my negative emotions, okay? So here is a trigger event. Now here we have a person, but that trigger event could be anything. It could be a car accident, losing your money, losing your job, okay? It could be something anybody tells you or says you. It doesn't matter what the trigger event is. Just in this case, we're using a person, okay? And this person over here gets triggered with this anger, okay? And what she does in the fatal hallucination, she says, he is the cause of my anger. Okay? He triggered me. He made me suffer. He made me angry. Okay? And see, she's thinking over here, he hurt me. He caused my activation, my mod, my anger. Okay? This is the fatal hallucination. And in it, the person assigns cause of his psychanic experience, in this case anger, to the external trigger, to the external event, okay, and says, therefore I am effect, I am the victim of this person. This person is controlling and causing my unhappiness, pain, and suffering here in the form of anger. Okay, this is the fatal hallucination, okay? But the truth is that when a trigger occurs, all it does is stimulate or activate one of your near masses, like your anger, to move from your subconsciousness to your consciousness experience. Okay? So what happens is, here comes a trigger. Okay? In this case, a snake. Remember, we don't care what the trigger is. Triggers are infinite. Okay? You have hundreds of triggers. Every time you felt any negative emotion, you were being triggered by something. Okay? It might even be a thought in your own head. You know, you recall a person and he did you wrong and you get angry about that just because you thought of it. The trigger was your thought or memory of a person, what they did to you, and that triggers your hate or your anger and present. So we don't care what the trigger is, okay? And triggers are not important because the world is full of them and it's always going to be full of triggers, okay? And triggers are different. One person gets triggered by a snake, another doesn't. Okay, the triggers are individual for each person depending on the history and the memories and the values and the fears and stuff of that particular person, okay? So we don't care what a trigger is. Okay, the world will always be full of triggers while you have NIMs that can be triggered. Okay? That you can't get rid of the triggers. There's no way. Life is always going to be a parade of events, and some of them are going to be positive and some of them are going to be negative. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. That's the nature of life. Okay? And if you have your NIMs, remember, negative emotional masses, negative emotional charges in your subconsciousness that were created in the past because of some event, any trigger, appropriate trigger event in temple present can trigger those masses into your experience. Okay? So we're not going to mess with triggers. It's impossible. Okay? What we have to do is discreate, discharge, eliminate your NIMs. And that's where we're going. Okay? Now, there's more to this mechanism of the activation of how it happens than we're covering it here. Okay? It's a little more complicated than what we're seeing here. Okay? But for your understanding at this level, all you need to know is that what happens with all of your UPS, unhappiness, pain, and suffering in life, your negative emotions, your mods, your moments of dolor, of pain, okay, is that a trigger event occurs and it activates or stimulates one of your NIMs to move from your subconscious where it is into your consciousness here where you suffer it. You experience that emotion. Okay? And if you're in the fatal hallucination, you assign cause to the trigger. And you say the trigger is causing it. The trigger is making me suffer. When you understand Psycanics, you know that the trigger is not causing it. And what you do is you thank the trigger, thank God for that trigger, because that trigger is bringing me in a NIM. And when I have a NIM in consciousness, that's when I can discreate it. I can't discreate them in my subconsciousness. I have to be able to feel them. So when you're in Psycanics and you know how to discreate NIMs, how to discharge your negative realities in your Psycanic universe, okay, and a trigger happens, you're grateful because it brings in a NIM. You will take that energy and you will discharge it using the being transformation technology that we want to teach you. Okay, and every time one of these comes in now, gets triggered in, wow, I just created another one, just created another. Now you have several hundred of them, and this takes about 2 years, but eventually you won't have any NIMs at all, and nothing will trigger you because there's nothing inside of you to be triggered. You've cleaned out all of your negative energy masses. Okay? Clear as mud? Okay? So again, the trigger does not create or cause your neg-emo. It only activates, stimulates your NIMs that are already present in your being. Okay? So here comes a trigger. You perceive the trigger in the physical universe and it activates a NIM. Like in this case with a snake, it's probably fear, or it could be hate or panic or anxiety or whatever. We don't care. The flavor of your negative emotion doesn't really matter, okay? All your negative emotions have exactly the same structure and exactly the same mechanism, okay? So if your activation is hate, depression, anxiety, fear, guilt, we don't really care. We're just going to take it and we're going to discreate it. And the laws of the discreation of all NIMs are identical. They're all the same. Okay? So it's very important here that you understand that the trigger, whatever it is, okay, another person says or does, or you lose your job, we don't care what the trigger is, okay, does not cause or create your negative emotions. All it does is reminds you, okay, of that these emotions exist and they come in. Just like if you see a tree that is similar to the tree in your front yard when you were a child, you can remember your front yard and you see that tree again. It's just like that, okay? Except you're not using your will to bring in, it's just being stimulated by seeing that tree. It's the same mechanism, okay? So these NIMs are in your subconsciousness and they get pulled in by subconsciousness when any relevant trigger occurs in your perception. Okay? Your NIMs, your emo masses, negative emotion masses, you are carrying around with you all the time, everywhere you go. Until you just create them, of course, okay? So here you are, consciousness, okay? Here's subconsciousness with your NIMs in them, okay? And you're walking around through life with all of these NIMs with you. Okay, and a trigger occurs, and boom, you see the NIM. The NIM comes in, and you see another trigger, and this NIM comes in, and then it subsides, and somebody says something ugly to you, and you're angry, and then you see your bank account, and you see it's very low, and fear of not having enough money comes in on you, and then your boss gives you a big job, and oh, gee, no say, if I can do this or not, and you feel anxiety, okay? So all the time, your NIMs in your subconscious are getting triggered in, and they subside and they go back in your subconsciousness, or you suppress them with alcohol and drugs and medications and tranquilizers and marijuana and cocaine, whatever your favorite chemical is, to suppress your experience and try to create and give you a mop. Okay? Or you go into a distractor activity, you go into social media to feel better because you feel alone and unloved. You go gambling, or you go shopping and buy things you don't need with money you don't have, just trying to make yourself feel better. Okay? So, understand that your NIMs, you're carrying around with you since childhood in your subconscious. They're with you everywhere you go. That's why you keep feeling anger and over again. It's not the trigger creating the anger. The anger is in you. It's part of you. And it's just getting triggered or stimulated by whatever is the trigger in the moment. Or your guilt, or your fear, or your hate, or whatever is going on. All of these negative emotional energies are in your subconsciousness all the time since your childhood. And they accompany you. And life is full of triggers, okay? Almost any event that you don't like or don't want will trigger a negative emotion for you, okay? And they will be there until you discreate them. You cannot get rid of these by going into the external quest. Okay? You can't cover them up, plaster them over them with mops because they'll poke through the mop. Go on a vacation and you still get angry. Okay? You can be in Cancun in a hotel on the beach and something happens and here comes anger or here comes guilt or anxiety or other things. Okay? You smoke not to feel anxiety, or you drink alcohol not to feel depression or loneliness or sadness, okay? But these don't discreate these masses. They plaster over them and they may change your experience for a while, but the mass just goes back and it's still there, and it will get activated again over and over again for the rest of your life until you discreate them. These activations of your NIMs, negative emotion masses, are your mods, your moments of pain, okay? So you have activations of positive emotions, which are your MOPs, and you have activations of your negative emotions, which are mods, okay? So MOPs and mods are like the opposite. For a MOP is in a positive experience, fleeting, And a mod is a negative experience, which you then suppress, and it becomes fleeting because it retreats back into your subconscious, where it waits for the next trigger to activate it again. And these NIMs, okay, the activation of your NIMs, are the only unhappiness, pain, and suffering that exist in your life. Your unhappiness, pain, and suffering is not the triggers. It's not the circumstances. It's not what the events of your life. It's how you feel. And that how you feel that is suffering, that is unpleasant, the anger, the hate, the depression, and all that, these are masses of energy in your subconscious that you're carrying around with you all the time, wherever you go, that get stimulated or activated by trigger events. Okay? You will never be able to control the external world to avoid trigger events. The only solution to achieve this true happiness all the time, no matter what, is to discreate your NIMs. You have several hundred of them. It takes the average person using the Psycanics being transformation technology, which is part of the Psycanics life transformation system. It takes the average person about 2 years working on themselves about an hour a day to totally eliminate all their NIMs and therefore all their negative emotions. And after that, they walk around the earth in serenity, in peace. Nothing upsets them because there's nothing in them to get upset. Okay, it's not the trigger, remember, that's your pain. It's your NIM. Okay? And this is the path to true happiness, to discharge your NIMs. Okay? So this is what's happening all the time. These masses are moving in on you. Okay? So remember, your unhappiness, pain, and suffering in life is never what happens or what is, situations, circumstances, triggers, but how you feel. Okay? And how you feel is, when it's negative or painful, it's because one of these masses has moved into your consciousness. So we need to break your fatal hallucination. We need to break in you this illusion that external events cause your pain and suffering in life. Okay? Because as long as you think and believe that, you're going to be fighting and struggling with triggers with the external world where there's no solution to your experience. You have to remove your focus from trying to control the external world and go into directly controlling your NIMs, your emotions, your negative emotions. And these are energies which you can discharge, which you can eliminate. Okay? So the external events, the triggers, are never the cause of how you feel. All they do is stimulate NIMs that are in your subconsciousness and are there from your childhood, and they'll be there for the rest of your life until you discreate them. Okay? So external events only trigger your NIMs that are already within your being. Discreate those NIMs and you have no longer nothing in your psychanic universe to activate and produce your negative experience, your negative emotions. Okay? You will then live free of negative emotions in UPS. Okay? Now, I achieved this state a number of years ago, and we have many people in the school, hundreds of people in the school, that some have achieved it, some of them are still working on it. So we're not talking to you about anything airy-fairy. This is tried and proved, and many people have done it and are working on it. There's nothing here that's theoretical. It's all proven. Okay. Another concept that we need to get on. And this is that your negative emotions are not newly created or caused every time you experience one. Okay? People think, well, here's the trigger, okay, and here's my negative emotion. This caused this and it did it, and then this goes away, and here comes another trigger, and here comes more anger, but this caused this new anger. It's not in my subconscious. This is start creating my anger. New trigger creates my guilt. New trigger creates my anxiety. And they believe that their emotions are being caused or created in the moment. No. Okay? They are there in your subconscious and they get activated and then they recede or subside. And then another trigger comes and it comes in again and then goes back. It's not being created over and over by the trigger or caused newly in the moment. No. Okay, it's the same charges that enter and come into your consciousness and back out of your consciousness, and the trigger's different. The triggers are not causing these. Okay? So this is very important. Your negative emotions are not being newly created or caused by the triggers at the moment that you experience one. No, they're there all the time, coming back and forth out of unconsciousness into consciousness experience, and then they subside. And another trigger comes in, and that same anger, the same fear comes back in. You feel it a while. The trigger goes away. You drink your alcohol or smoke your cigarettes, and it subsides back into your subconscious. You didn't discreate it. All you did was try to plaster over it and not feel it until it goes back into your subconsciousness, till you forget the charge, we might say. Okay? So no, this is not how it works. Okay? They are the same masses of energy, the same NIMS moving in and out of your consciousness over and over again. Okay? They're not created by the triggers, much less new ones every time a trigger creates. Okay? You will never eliminate your UPS, stop your mods in life by trying to stop the triggers. Okay? Because anything can be a trigger. Okay? Seeing a dog can be a trigger. You know, if you got scared of a dog or got bitten one when you were a child, just seeing a dog will produce anxiety, and you may not even know why. You may see the dog, unconscious that you see the dog. You're walking down the street, there's a dog, you see it out of the corner of your eye, and suddenly you feel anxious, and why do I suddenly feel anxious? Unconsciously, you saw the dog, and the dog activated this old trauma that you had with the dog as a child. Okay? And it doesn't have to be a big event. It could be you were just scared of the dog, and the dog didn't do anything to you. Okay? Remember, anything for a child can be traumatic. Okay? So we're saying here that there's no way you can ever be happy, eliminate your negative emotions, and achieve happiness all the time by trying to stop the triggers. On the contrary, we're going to be grateful for the triggers because they give us our activation in experience where we can discharge the energy. So while you're working on yourself with the being transformation technology, you're living thanking life for activating you because it gives you the opportunity to discharge that energy permanently from your being. Okay? So this is called, I stop blaming the trigger. I stop assigning cause to the trigger. I stop assigning responsibility for how I feel to the trigger. I stop creating myself as the victim of the trigger, as the effect, that the trigger causes me to suffer. No, I'm the creator of my emotions, and I'm the only person can discreate them. I am responsible for how I feel. I am responsible for working on my negative emotions and creating the positive ones, not the triggers. Okay? This is responsibility for experience. Okay? I'm going to repeat it. I stop assigning cause to the trigger. I stop assigning responsibility and blaming the trigger. I retake my responsibility for my emotions and my negative emotions. They're in me, they're mine, they're my problems. Okay, instead of resisting the triggers, I'm going to thank the triggers for activating me because it gives me that opportunity to discreate that energy permanently. Okay? And anyway, it's impossible for you to eliminate the triggers in life. Life is a parade of events. It will always show up as it does. And from any one human being's point of view, some things that happen are negative and some things are positive. They could be all reversed for another person, okay? If somebody steals $100 from you, it's negative for you, but positive for them, okay? So positive and negative is always a point of view, but life is always going to be positive and negative events, and you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. Some people are going to like you, some people are going to dislike you, okay? Sometimes you're going to win a bet and sometimes you're going to lose it. That's just the nature of life. You can't hope to try to control your experience, eliminate your negative emotions, and be happy all the time by messing with triggers. It's just impossible. You can't control what other people do and say. You can't control having events, a car accident, losing your job, not having enough money. Then comes along the China virus and you lose your job and you don't have any money. You can't control all that. What you control is your experience about it, how you feel about it. This you control, but you control it by directly working on the energies in your being. Okay, you are the creator of these energies, and you can discreate anything in your psychic universe. Okay, if you want to discreate something in the physical universe, well, you gotta go get an axe or burn it or blow it up or something. It's hard. But in your psychanic universe, you can take any reality and you flow the energy out of it, and that reality has less and less energy, and poof, it finally just disappears. This is what we teach you in the being transformation technology. Okay? So as long as you have your NIMs, they will continue to activate and produce your mods, your moments of dolor, okay, which are the only unhappiness, pain, and suffering in your life, your own negative emotions. This destroys any possibility of true happiness. Because remember, true happiness is living above the line with only positive emotions all the time. If you keep going down below the line, dipping down here into your negative emotions, anger and hate or something, that's not true happiness. Remember the analogies of health and wealth. Okay? Okay. So the secret to true happiness all the time, okay, there's no negatives, no matter what. That means no matter what happens, okay, no matter the trigger, no matter the event, the situation, the person, what other people does, you are free of negative emotions and you're staying in serenity and peace and joy and love all the time, okay, is to take each NIM when it activates and discreates it. Okay, let's see that again. Okay, so here's your NIMs in your subconsciousness, okay? You see them there. Every human being has them. And these will be activated by a trigger and move into your consciousness. And you can take the energy of that and discharge it, okay? And that NIM disappears. It stops existing instead of returning back to your subconsciousness. You take the energy out of it, and a reality that has no energy no longer is real. It's not reality anymore. You have discreated the reality by discharging its energy. Okay? You keep doing this on every activation, and eventually your being will be free of NIMs. And things will occur in your life, triggers, like Trump and snakes and death and divorce and losing money, and they call you an idiot and whatever else goes on, and you are unaffected. You are serene. And with that serenity comes greater wisdom to understand the situation and to handle it, okay? Have you ever tried to reason with a person who's angry or with a person who's in the grip of a big fear? No, they lose their ability to reason. And if a person's activated, only their point of view matters. Okay? Have you ever tried to reason with a person who's depressed, and say, things aren't so bad. No, they're bad. There's no hope. Okay? So when you're activated, the law is that activations destroy wisdom. So when you're serene all the time, okay, then you have a greater wisdom, perceptions, and therefore a greater power and ability to handle negative situations. Not to mention that you no longer suffer because of them. Okay? Nothing can activate you because there is nothing in you to activate. Okay? Life will continue. The events will continue to happen. But you don't have those charges moving in on you. Your subconscious is clean of those. Okay? So you live in serenity and peace no matter what happens, all the time. Remember the definition of true happiness. To live is in positive emotions, peace, serenity, joy, and passion, enthusiasm, all the time, no matter what. Okay, that means that Somebody dies, there's a divorce, you lose your money. It doesn't matter what happens. Nothing can activate negative emotions because you no longer have the masses of charges of these in your being. Okay? All right. So activations destroy wisdom. This is one of the laws. When you're free of mods, you are wiser and more powerful in solving negative situations. Okay? After discreating each NEM, you then create and energize PEMs, positive emotional energy masses, which are happiness. Okay? All your Psycanics energies are your creations. Where do you think your emotions come from? You think God sent them to you? Or they were there when you're born? No, they are creations. Okay? And we will show you how to create enthusiasm. Peace you achieve just by eliminating the negatives, okay? We will show you what love is. In the same way that you're seeing now what happiness really is, love is also a great, huge body of knowledge of what it is and how it works. And just like with happiness, human ideas about what love is are almost entirely wrong. And that's why there's so little love and why people have so many problems in their relationships, because they don't understand what love is. Okay? So you have to learn what it is, and then you have to create it. Okay? Passion. You should be living in enthusiasm and passion for your life, for your relationships, and above all, for your work. Life is too short to spend 8 hours a day doing something that you don't really enjoy. Okay? So you will learn how to create, to attract into your life a job that you're enthusiastic and passionate, that you enjoy. Okay? And then joy itself. Actually, joy is part of your spiritual nature. And as humans, we have it suppressed and counter-created. So we don't have to create it so much as we have to take the suppressions off and let it come out and bubble up in us. Okay? But so, anyway, we will call all this creation of your positive energy masses. Okay? And here, how real and strong have been your negative emotions all your life? Your anger, your depression, your guilt, your fear, your anxiety, all those things. Have they not been really real? Have they not been really powerful in your life? Well, in exactly the same power you have to create and make real your positive emotions. The joy, the enthusiasm, the love, the contentment, the satisfaction in every moment. Okay? The same way that you've had these negatives, you can make your positives the same strength, the same reality, and even more where they're there all the time. Okay? It's the same power. The same power that creates the negative is the same power that creates the positive. And you are that power. You are the will. You are the creator. It's just that nobody's ever shown you how your emotions work, how happiness works. Okay? And here's a law of creation. And here's one of the differences between Psycanics and other systems that develop in psychotherapies. Okay? You cannot create positive over the top of negative. You must first discreate the negatives so that the positive can appear unopposed. Because even if you have a positive and you're feeling joy in a moment and a trigger event occurs, then that anger will activate and it will overcome your joy, and that becomes your experience. Okay? Plus, if you have anger and anxiety, you have your NEMs here, muy fuerte, then to try and overcome them with like joy or enthusiasm, you would need a hell of a lot of joy. You'd have to create a whole bunch of energy trying to plaster over and counteract these realities that are there. Okay? But if we get rid of all of these, if we just create them, then it only takes a little bit of joy to be your dominant and permanent experience because it's unopposed by the negatives. Okay? So this is one of the secrets of the powers of Psycanics. We first discreate the negatives so that the positives, you don't need to create a lot of energy, it doesn't take a lot of time, and they're unopposed and they're permanent. Okay? And if you go to any personal development, any psychotherapy, any spirituality, that doesn't first address the negatives and teach you how to handle them and discreate them, they're going to have very poor results, and you're going to be there a long time in struggle and effort trying to get your desired result because the negatives are still there. Okay. So here we're back to our happiness UPS, polarity scale. Recorded the happiness is all this range up here in the top, and our unhappiness UPS is all this range down here in the bottom, right? So when you eliminate these all your UPSs up here, instead of living like this, popping up and down between positive and negative, okay, all of your experiences up here in the positive, because these no longer exist in you. Okay? This is happiness all the time, no matter what. Okay? So the BTT is the permanent elimination of your NIMs, negative emotion masses, and therefore of your unhappiness, pain, and suffering. And that is the starting point for true happiness. Okay? Now, we will need to create all these, but this is actually relatively easy. The part that's long and difficult, if you want, is the discreation of the negatives. Okay, in fact, the positives tend just to come out naturally when the negatives are no longer there suppressing them. Okay, so we're going to discreate your negatives. Okay, now I'm going to kind of sum up everything we've had there with this right here. We're going to consider that the human being has two modalities for handling his experience. Okay? Two modalities. One of them works and the other doesn't. Okay, so the two modalities here, the first one in which most people live is the impossible external quest for happiness. Okay? And it has at least like three sides or strategies, okay? The first is to seek happiness by seeking MOPS, which are the mirage of happiness. No, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to be important, I want to be respected, I want to have a family, I want a big house, I want a yacht, whatever is the person's goals. Thinking that when he has those things, one of them or all of them, whatever, finally he's going to have achieved happiness. Okay? And we've already proven that that is impossible. It does not work. The richest people in the world are among the most stressed and anxious and worried that there are. And you have people that are like Buddhist mobs and even people in relatively positive that are known for being happy. Okay, so your external situations do not determine your emotional experience. Much less that they can maintain positive all the time, because MOPS always pass. Okay? Even if you don't lose the thing, if you keep your yacht, even so, it wears off. It just becomes a normal thing. I mean, you had a new car, right? How long did the mop last? A month, 2 months, 3 months? And then it was just your car. Okay, that happens to all things. Relationships, you get married, you know, and you're in the glow for a year, year and a half, 2 years, and then it just becomes monotonous. It loses its mop. Okay? The other way is to attack triggers. This is other people, trying to invalidate them and get angry with them so they don't do or say what you don't like, so that they obey you, so that they give you acceptance, importance, respect, whatever you're trying to get out of them, okay? These are people triggers. But you also have events and situation triggers. And you can't do anything about losing your job, no. So what you do is you go in to avoid and suppress the experience by alcohol or chemicals, cigarettes, marijuana, Valium, Prozac, whatever you're using. These tranquilizers, poison and Valiums are billion-dollar businesses. Okay, the amount of tranquilizers that people consume is incredible. Okay, so this is the impossible external quest. Seeking MOPS for the positive, attacking the triggers in my relationships, and then trying to avoid or stress experience with substances or distractor activities like going shopping, retail therapy, okay, or social media or whatever. All right, this, okay, is what humans do mostly, and it doesn't work to create true happiness. It creates a lot of drama and trauma. Okay. The other thing is the internal achievement of happiness, which is what we're talking about here. Okay. And this works by taking your NIMs, which is in your subconscious, letting them activate in here, and then discreating them so that they begin to cease to exist. And you keep repeating this process until all of your NIMs. Is it hard? It's not particularly hard. Does it take a long time? Yeah, it takes several hundred hours of working on yourself to eliminate them all. Okay? It's not overnight. It's not a quick fix. It's not taking a pill and thinking you're going to work up the next day and you're not going to have any negative emotions. No. It's going to take you a couple of years of constant, persistent, dedicated work on yourself. But it's totally possible. It's totally doable. Okay? So in this one, what we do is we discreate our NIMs, and we're going to create positive identities and emotions. Okay? And that's the path to true happiness all the time, no matter what. Okay, so to do all this, to discreate and create, there is a precision scientific system for discreating your NIMs and creating your PIMs. Okay? It's not done al azar, it's not done in hope, it's not doing throwing darts at a board. It's not done, with black magic or voodoo. No. Okay? As you can see right now, we have been describing to you scientifically and precisely exactly how your experience, your emotions really work. Okay? That same science and precision also teaches you how to discreate them and how to create the positive emotions. Okay? And that science in general is Psycanics. Now, Psycanics is much bigger than just your negative emotions. Okay? It also goes into the nature of your mind and also your negative mind, because your mind has a lot of negative energy just like your emotions. It's got resistances and aversions and validations and criticisms and judgments and a lot of negative shit that goes on in the human mind. Okay? All of that you have to clean up. Then it goes into your behaviors, your addictions and your compulsions and your obsessions and your phobias and your PTSD. How do you handle, eliminate all that? And then it goes into your relationships. What causes problems and conflicts in the relationships? What do I need to do to create relationships that are harmony, that are love, that are cooperation? Okay? The relationships of people like me and the other graduates of the school, we don't have conflicts or problems in our relationships. Everything is harmony. Okay? So the being transformation technology, the abbreviation of this is BTT, obviously. Okay? This is the procedure of creation and discreation. It's how to do psychanic energy processing to create and discreate anything in your eternal experience. Because everything that exists, physics and psychanic, is energy. Okay? And just as energy in the physical universe, light and heat and motion and mechanics, follow precise and exact laws, so too does everything in your psychanic universe, which is all energy, obey precise laws. They're not the same laws. Okay? They're often similar, but they're different laws. But it is lawful. And the laws that determine your happiness or your UPS in life are just as rigid and powerful as the laws that hold the planets in their orbits. Your problem with your psychanic experience and your happiness and your relationships is not that they don't obey laws. The problem is that you don't know those laws, and therefore you create disorder and chaos in your psychanic universe and in your relationships. But it's not because there are not laws. It's because you don't know what they are, and you're violating them all the time. Okay? Especially those laws which are different and even opposite to the laws in the physical universe. You think that the way things work in the physical universe is how they work in your psychanic universe. No. There are differences. Okay? So this is about Psycanics, which has a life transformation system or program. And within that life system transformation program, there's the being transformation technology, which is how you work on your internal energies. Okay? Here it is, what I just said. The being transformation technology is part of the Psycanics life transformation system. Okay? And part of that here, of this being transformation, is this book and all of its courses. There are courses and online support with this. How to do precision self-therapy to quickly change anything in your life. Okay, this is the being transformation technology that is part of the Psycanics life transformation system. Okay, everything that I have been saying to you in these 5 videos is part of this being transformation technology and part of Psycanics. Okay, so this book and its courses of support and online support teach you how to discreate your NIMS and how to create positive energy, how to achieve happiness all the time. Okay, so that's basically the end of the explication presentation, and what we want to do now is give you a summary of all this information about true happiness. Not just this video, but all of the 5 videos that you've watched to get this far. So, I am going to read you the 34 main points of this entire 5-video course on true happiness. Okay? You're going to see the text on the screen. You can read along with me, although I tend to read fast. And your challenge is to see how well you understand all this. Now, this is kind of it's a reminder, it's in a summary, and it's a check of your comprehension, okay? Now, all of this is Psycanics, and it's a lot of very sophisticated knowledge with many technical terms and abbreviations, okay? You're always welcome to watch the video again until you understand all of this, okay? Now, understanding all of this is critical to your happiness. If you want to move from how you live now up into true happiness, we have to break your fatal hallucination and your external quest. That's the purpose of these videos, okay? Show you what true happiness is, where it is, and how to achieve it. Okay, number 1, the existential imperative, existential imperative, okay? This is the ultimate motivation of all human behavior, is one's own happiness. In everything that a human being decides and chooses, he is always choosing about how he is going to feel. He may say it's altruism, he's being unselfish, he's seeking the happiness to others, okay? But if that is so, that's because he feels happier doing that, okay? We have a scientific proof available of this, just like we gave you the proof of the consistency of cause, but we're not going to go into it in this course, okay? Just take this as a hypothesis. Everything you do and everything everybody else does is always for their own happiness. Now, this doesn't mean that they have to make other people unhappy or it has to be selfish, okay? Our happiness requires that we get along and cooperate with other people, that we basically play win-win in life, okay? But even so, when the cards are down and a person is going to choose, they're always going to choose for their happiness, whether other people like or don't like their choices. Number 2 of 34. To achieve happiness, happiness itself must consciously be your primary goal in life. People have many goals, many MOPs, you know, money, fame, fortune, family, children, whatever, okay? But almost never does anyone have on their list of goals, in the first place, happiness. Happiness directly as one of them. Okay? They have many goals, but happiness isn't there. And what you have to understand, that happiness is a thing unto itself that has its own laws of how you achieve it. And MOPs, external things, cannot produce it. Everything that we've been seeing in these 5 courses, okay? You can see that happiness is a science unto itself. Okay? It's a goal unto itself, and external things do not produce. And if you want happiness, it's got to be on your list. It's got to be first on your list, and you're going to have to do a lot of stuff to work on yourself to achieve it. Okay? So when you don't have happiness on your list, you're not likely to hit something you're not aiming at. This is why people don't achieve true happiness. They're not aiming at it. They don't know what it is, they don't know where it is, they don't know how it works, and they don't even have it as a goal on their list. And it's not something that comes as a result of anything else, of external things. It comes as a result of you working on happiness, which you remember is your emotional energy polarity. Happiness is purely how you feel, and it has nothing to do with external circumstances. So you have to go into your happiness energies, eliminate the negatives, and reinforce the positives. That's how you achieve happiness. You don't achieve it by having relationships or money or all this stuff. These things can add to the quality of your life. They can be rich experiences in themselves, but they are not true happiness, and they can't cause it. Happiness is a science unto itself. Okay, and you're understanding what it is right now and seeing that how it is a thing unto itself that you have to understand and have to act to achieve it, just as you have to act if you want to achieve money or a relationship. You've got to take certain steps. You've got to know what you're doing. In the same way, if you want to achieve happiness, you've got to understand what it is and know what you're doing. Okay, number 3 of 34. Most humans live in the impossible dream of the external quest. Okay? Remember, the external quest is looking for happiness outside of me by either looking for mops or trying to stop triggers and mods. And it's impossible to do it. Happiness doesn't exist out there in the world. It exists in you. And right now it's polarized in pain and suffering and the positive emotions. And they live in this impossible dream because of the fatal hallucination that external things cause my emotions. Okay? That external things can make me feel good, which is understandable because mops do give you a flash of happiness. Okay? And the illusion, the hallucination that bad things cause my anger and my suffering. Okay? Now, the hallucination is understandable. Okay? But it comes when you haven't really gone into the nature of being and the nature of experience and consciousness and your emotions. And you're just living here as a normal human being. Well, yeah, it looks like the external world causes how you feel. That positive things causes happiness and that negative things causes pain and suffering. But that's an illusion. It's a hallucination. It's not true. Okay? So the fatal hallucination has two sides, positive and negative, mops and mods. On the positive side, mops, people believe that if they can only get enough of the right thing, enough money, enough relationships, enough sex, enough fame, enough power, enough big enough house, or whatever they've got going on as their goals in the illusion of happiness, that they will achieve this happiness sometime in the future, right? Because you get a goal, you get a mop, and that mop always passes. So the only thing you can do is go back onto the merry-go-round of life and go for the next gold ring, for the next mop, which is always going to pass. So you have to go back and set another goal, or get more money, or more power, or more fame. And there you go we call it the merry-go-round, looking for the golden ring of happiness. Okay? This in the future is a carrot on a stick. Happiness is a present time experience right now, and it's also permanent, impregnable, and impervious to external events. If you are not happy right now, you are not happy. And more mops in the future is not going to change your level of happiness. It's not going to stay there, the positive emotions, and you're doing nothing to get rid of the negative emotions. Okay? So it's an impossible dream, the external quest for happiness. All right, number 5. External things produce mops, moments of pleasure, and mops, 1, are usually a struggle. They require effort and struggle to achieve. To get more money, you got to work hard. You often fail to get them at all, which is immediate disappointment. The major ones, the important ones, like getting married or a house or a new business, are few and far between. You don't have a great mop every day. You might have one or two a year. And they are always fleeting. Mops always pass. Okay? Because they depend on external conditions. They're not an internal creation of you, of your happiness, that is impervious and impregnable. You're depending on external things to try to control your experience. Okay? And even though it gives you that mop, that flash of positive emotion, that's going to go down because you don't have that as a permanent internal state of your being. Okay? You're using things to pick that, to stimulate that and cause that. And these stimulations, they always go. Okay? And finally, mops do nothing to eliminate your mods, your moments of pain, your activations, your negative emotions, which are the essence of UPS. Okay? And mods tend to wipe out mops. Okay? So if you're there on a vacation, in a fancy hotel or resort or something, and you get some bad news or somebody says something, and you have a fight with your significant other, and you're all angry, something, well, that wipes out the mop for being there, for at least as long as the anger lasts. Okay? So there's no true happiness as long as you still have your NEMs, your negative emotion masses. Okay, number 6. People have many goals that they think will produce happiness, all of which fails because they are chasing mops, not happiness. We've seen what happiness is. It's internal, how it works. It's purely emotional. Okay? It's not what you have. It's not your mops. They can't produce happiness. And the flash of mop they give you won't last. And you continue to have your mods. So they're chasing mirages of happiness, not happiness itself. And this will never work to produce happiness. And as any mop will never be enough, humans live in perennial dissatisfaction and always want more and more and more. More money, more fame, more power, more respect, more relationships, more sex, a new house, a new car. We'll never be satisfied, okay, because having these mops does not create the internal experience of satisfaction and contentment. In happiness, in true happiness, you're satisfied and content all the time with whatever you have. And if you decide that you want more, it's a rational decision. Well, I want more money because I want these new experiences, but not because I need those experiences to be satisfied and complete and fulfilled. Okay? That is part of happiness itself, and you're that way all the time. Okay? An example of this is the minimalist movement, where people realize that physical things, physical possessions actually weigh down on your being, on your spiritual being, and they generate unhappiness, anxiety, worry about things. They take you out of your experience of yourself as a spirit, and they put you into a caretaker of physical things, worrying about paying the bills and this thing and taking care of it and storing it and using it and all that stuff, okay? Okay. People, minimalists, have discovered that they're actually more happy with fewer things, with just what you need and really enjoy. Okay? I am a minimalist, and I've experienced this twice in my life. I've accumulated a substantial sum of money, houses, airplanes, and stuff, gotten rid of it, accumulated them again without even really trying to, and gotten rid of them again. And now I'm very careful not to let anything into my life that I don't really need or really enjoy, because physical things weigh down on my spirituality, on me being a free spirit, just being here to enjoy this life and not being a caretaker and somebody carrying around with me psychanically a lot of material stuff. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you need to become a minimalist. I'm just saying that it does add a dimension to your happiness. Okay? But above all, you have to Part of the being happy is you get out of this dissatisfaction and the greed and the ambition of human beings that they always want more and more and more and more and more, trying to get that sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, trying to reach that true happiness. And it's a neurosis, it's a compulsion, it's an obsession, and it's UPS. Okay. I do get passionate at times. All right, number 7. To achieve happiness, you must understand what happiness really is. We've talked about that. It's your emotional energy polarity, getting rid of the negatives and living in the top all the time. And it's purely psychanic. Has nothing to do with the physical universe, right? How it works, this is how your psychanic works. You are the creator of these energies. They consist of realities. You have a subconscious and a conscious and a will, and you can take these energies, negative energies, any habit, any compulsion, any addiction, any negative emotion, any relationship problem. You can find the underlying cause in your psychanic universe and discreate that. Okay? And how to achieve true happiness, which is applying all that to discreating your NIMs first and then creating your PIMs. But the NIM discreation must come first. Remember, you cannot create positive over the top of negatives. Okay, number 8. What is happiness is very simple. Okay, your emotions are the happiness UPS polarity inside your being. Okay, your emotions are a single psychanic energy polarity spectrum. And you're the creator of these emotions. You can control them. And what you have created, you can discreate. Okay? So the happiness is being in the positive all the time. And to achieve that, you've got to get rid of the negatives and then just create positives. And you've got to disconnect from any idea that the external physical universe controls your emotional polarities. Okay, they give you mops and they give you mods, but they're just stimulations of what's already inside of you, your emotional energies. Your emotional energies are self-love energy, and they're part of your being itself. Okay? And this is another story. We're not going to go into that. Okay. So happiness is simple. Happiness is feeling, living in positive emotions all the time, no matter what. Peace, satisfaction, enthusiasm, passion, joy, love, etc. Contentment. Okay, all of these, that's the nature of happiness. Okay, now true happiness is all the time, no matter what. Okay, so when you have a mop, yeah, you go to happiness, right? You feel these positive emotions, but it's not an internal creation, and it's not all the time, no matter what. It's gonna pass, because it's not an internal creation of you, of your energies, but using external things to stimulate your positive emotions, just as negative thing triggers stimulate your negative emotions. Okay? You're not being a creator. You're not controlling your energies there. Okay? You might say you're masturbating yourself with external things trying to control your energies, your happiness. Okay? So number 10, the opposite of happiness is UPS. Okay? We sometimes call it oops. Okay? Which is the abbreviation for unhappiness, pain, and suffering, and it means all of the negative emotions. Okay? Anger, anxiety, fear, guilt, sadness, loneliness, hate, depression, whatever you consider an unpleasant negative emotion, then that's part of your UPS. There's a lot of them, okay? Your own negative emotions are the only unhappiness, pain, and suffering that exist for you. It's never the situations. It's never the other person or your relationship or your circumstances. It's how you feel. It's your emotional state, your emotional condition that is your happiness or unhappiness, not the situations. Okay, you've got people in the worst of situations who have maintained peace and serenity, and you've got people in the best of situations that are driven and neurotic and worried and fearful, and they're angry. Okay, there's a lot of information on the internet about the happiness of the rich people, that they're not happier and often more stressed and anxious than normal people. Okay. So your own negative emotions are the only UPS that exists for you. And it's not external things, but it's how you feel. Okay, and how you feel is independent of external things unless you're in the fatal hallucination and letting external things activate your negative emotions and trying to get mops to feel you're good. That's the external quest, the impossible dream. Okay, don't do that. Okay, learn to go in and work on your emotions where you're the creator and you decide how you feel. You're no longer at the effect of external events. You know, you're a cause, you're the creator, they're my energies, they're my emotions, and nobody tells me what to think or what to feel. Okay, I'm the creator of all that. Okay, Psycanics is how you create it and how you discreate in your psychanic non-physical universe. Okay, so true happiness is positive emotions all the time, no matter what. And if you live bouncing up and down between positive and negative emotions, you do not qualify as happy. Half your life and experience is negative emotions. You know, anger, fear, anxiety, guilt, problems, fights with your spouse, problems at work, whatever. Okay? True happiness is upper scale here all the time, no matter what, because you've discreated your negatives. Okay, number 12 of 34. The happiness UPS polarity, where you are in this polarity, okay, is irrelevant of external events and situations. It is purely how you feel, that it is purely your emotions, which are internal energies, and they are not caused, created, or discreated by external physical things. They are psychanic energies. And all psychanical, transphysical energies are above physical energies. Transonic energies can cause physical energies, but physical energies cannot cause psychanic energies or experiences. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Your will up here to create and what you choose, okay, can conform the physical universe. You can attract what you want. But these things here do not control your will or your experience unless you let them. Okay? So to be happy, you only need to control your feelings, your emotions, not the external world, which is impossible to control anyway. Okay? You don't always get what you want. You always win and you lose some. Okay? You can't stop triggers. 13. So how you feel is never caused by external things. Never, never, ever. There are no connections, cables, remote controls, Wi-Fi, radio wave between the external physical universe and your internal psychic world. Now, where this is often easy to see is in your thoughts. Okay, take your mind here, what you're thinking. Okay, can anyone make you think something against your will? Can anybody make you adopt another religion? Let's say you're Catholic. Can they make you turn to Buddhist? If you're Democrat, can they make you think Republican? Okay. If somebody tells you that you are an idiot, okay, do you naturally believe that you're an idiot, or can you have your own opinion? Oh, I'm pretty smart. Okay, so you can see this very easily in the mind that nobody can tell you or make you think anything or believe anything against your will. It's the same way in your emotions. Nobody, nothing external, can make you feel anything. Okay? Now there is the illusion, the fatal hallucination. It looks like it. Okay? Because something happens and then we have a feeling. But remember that correlation is not causation. That's an important scientific law. Okay? And we're not going to see it here, but there's a mechanism, okay, between an event and your emotions. It consists of what we call identity and identity. The event happens and you are adopting unconsciously an identity in relation to that event. And your emotions are your self-love energy that activate according to the identity. Now all this you'll see in the book on self-therapy and in the being transformation technology. It's more complicated than what we need right here. Right now all I want to do is break your fatal hallucination and your external quest by showing you what happiness really is and what is a real true path to it. Okay? Okay, so let's go here to number 14. Okay. What destroys your happiness, your true happiness, is your only negative emotions, which are the only unhappiness, pain, suffering in life. It's not the events. It's not the circumstances. It's not what other people do or say. Okay? So your unhappiness, pain, and suffering in life is never the events or circumstances, but it's how you feel, which may or may not be in relationship to those events. Okay? Now, it's how you feel in something may be in relation to what the trigger was, but it might be that old dog trauma from your childhood, not really that dog that just passed across the street that you barely even noticed was there. Okay? So it's how you feel. Okay? That got triggered. Okay? So events are never the cause of how you feel, of your emotions. They can't cause happiness, and they don't cause unhappiness. Okay? And this life itself is a polarity. Okay? Polarity is positive and negative. So as you go through life, life is a parade of events, one event after another, one experience after another, on many levels. You have physical experiences, what you see, what you hear, relationships, sex, and then you have psychanic experiences, all of your thoughts, all of your memory, all of your knowledges, all of your thinking, planning, your dreams and your hopes, and all of your emotions. All of those are experiences. Life is experience. If you think life is not experience, go to talk to somebody buried in a cemetery and ask them how goes their experience. And they'll tell you, well, I don't have any physical experience anymore because I don't have any life anymore. Okay? So life is a parade of experiences, of events, of experiences, because it's not, some experiences are psychanics and are not exactly physical events. Okay? So your happiness and unhappiness polarity, your emotional energy polarity, is not in the events, but in your emotions, in your psychanic universe itself. It's part of your being. Your emotions are your self-love energy polarity. Okay, I'm not going to explain that now. You'd have to understand identities about it, okay? But your emotions are part of your being, we can say that, okay? They come with you being a spiritual being. Okay, they're love energy, actually, positive and negative love energy. Okay? Your emotions are psychanic energies with no connection to the external world. Okay? They're connected to your identities, to who you are, not to the external world. Again, all of this is advanced psychanics that you will see in the being transformation technology, in the book on self-therapy, and on the online support groups for that. Okay? Number 17 of 34, we're halfway through. So on the unhappiness side of the fatal illusion, most people live in the illusion that negative external events cause their negative emo and UPS. Okay? That is, triggers cause my negative emotions. They therefore burn their Te. Te is the abbreviation in Psycanics for time and energy, and it's your life. Your life consists of time and energy. In the impossible dream of the external quest, trying to control their triggers to control their internal experience. Now, this is a Sisyphean task. Sisyphus was the Greek man or king that was sentenced by the gods to push this boulder up a mountain, okay, where it would slip out of his grasp at the top and it would roll back down, and he'd have to go back down the mountain, grab it, and push it up over and over again. He was sentenced to do this for all eternity because of his hubris with the gods, because he offended the gods. And trying to control your experience by controlling the external world, the triggers, is a Sisyphean task. It's enormous time and energy trying to control what other people do and say, and it doesn't work anyway. Okay, you keep trying, and every problem and conflict you have with others, or with most of them, is because you want them to do something that they don't want to do. They're resisting what you want. They're not acting as you want them to do. They're saying things you don't want. Okay? And so when they do that and you get activated and you get angry or you feel rejected or sad or lonely or whatever it is, then you go and you attack them with negative energy to try to get them to change and do what you want. They may do it a moment or two, but then they go back to the same thing. You get all angry. It's the Sisyphean task of trying to control your experience with external things. Okay, number 18. In the fatal hallucination, which is, remember, is the illusion that external things determine my emotion, people attack their people triggers, their relationship people, with negative energy, anger, invalidation, blame, criticism, etc., judgment, to try to stop, change, or punish that trigger person so he doesn't do what activates me. These attacks and defenses are the main source of damage to relationships, okay? Now, Psycanics has a complete and vast area on relationships, on why they don't work and what's necessary for them to work. It's even more complicated than happiness. And I hope you're seeing here that your problem with happiness has been ignorance of not knowing what it is and how it works. The same thing is true for your relationships, okay? You have problems and conflicts with people because you don't really understand how they work. And that's what we're going to teach you in Psycanics if you decide to join the school. Number 19. People also try to avoid, suppress, or change their negative experience with chemical substances, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, food, etc., and with distractor activities. These then become their addictions in life. No one who has ever lived has had the power to always control the external events. Trying to achieve happiness by controlling the world is impossible success, both on the mop side and on the mod side. If we had to control the world to be happy, there would be no hope for human happiness. Fortunately, it is not necessary to control the world to be happy. You only need to control your internal psychic energies, your emotions. And your psychic universe consists of non-physical energies which act upon you conscious to produce your experience. You are the creator and the discreator of your psychic energies, your psychic realities. To achieve true happiness, you must work directly in your internal world, not the external world. You must convert, transform your interior jungle that you have now with chaos and disorder in your mind and your emotions and your relationships and your behaviors and addictions out of your control into a garden of happiness by discreating all the negatives and planting fruit trees and flowers so that you live in a beautiful, peaceful, happy, psychic universe all the time. This is a work on your interior that you must do. It's got nothing to do with your external world, except that when you finally do order and take control of your internal world, you naturally begin to project and reflect mejor results in your external world. Okay, because your external world is a reflection, a projection of your psychic universe. If you are happy and powerful and in cause and responsibility and you're ordered internally, then your external physical universe is going to follow suit. Okay? Your triggers do not create your negative MOUPS. All your mods, your unhappiness, are activations of your own NIMs, which you are carrying around with you all the time in your subconsciousness wherever you go. Okay? You're here with your consciousness and your subconsciousness full of all of your energies, and you're walking around here in life with all of this stuff going on. Okay, all of your negative energies, and they're being triggered by the external things. Okay, it's not the triggers. It's you have to handle your energies, your internal energies. Your negative emotional charges are not newly created each time you trigger or activate. No. Okay, it's not that a trigger occurs and it creates an emotion and you experience it. No. They are the same negative emotional masses in your subconscious moving in and out of your consciousness all the time as they get triggered and then they subside or recede. Okay? Your triggers do not cause or create these masses, and especially they don't create them in the moment that occurs the trigger. Okay, people live in this illusion. The trigger caused my anger, and the anger was created out of nothing right now by the trigger. No. You are full of NIMs, And these NIMs get activated, move into conscious experience, and you plaster over them with drugs or you attack the trigger, and they eventually subside. Just like you can remember the tree at the house where you grew up, and you remember it and you're thinking about that, but then you forget about it and it goes back into your subconsciousness. Your emotions are the same way. They're all psychanic realities. Okay? So your negative emotions are the same masses or charges of negative energy activating over and over and over again, moving in and out of your conscious experiences, back into your subconscious. Okay, they're moving back and forth as you let them be activated by external events. Okay? These NIMs stay with you, activating over and over again until you discreate them. Okay, you've been carrying them since childhood. You've got years with the same angers, with the same depressions or anxieties or whatever your flavor of negative emotions are. Okay, everybody has different combinations and different intensities and different flavors. Okay? Discreation is a precision technology you can learn, which is explained in the self-therapy book, and then we support you online until you get the hang of how to do it. Okay? Okay. Number 26 of 34. Until you eliminate your negative emotion masses, you will live with mods and UPS, and obsessively and unsuccessfully trying to control your experience with external quest behaviors. Attacking others, drugs, addictions, chasing mops, whatever you do to try to avoid or suppress when you feel bad. Okay? Number 27. Once you have desecrated your NIMs, you will have no more of them. Obviously, you're not going to wander around life creating them. Now, as a child, you created all this stuff, but as an adult, you will know better and you'll not keep creating more of them. That's easy to do, okay? And you will be permanently free of all negative emotions, which is the only unhappiness, pain, and suffering that exists. Okay, you will then create, and again we show you how, and live in eternal peace, love, and joy all the time, no matter what happens in your life. You have nothing to activate, so there are no more triggers. There are just events. Life is a parade of events. Okay? And it's gonna happen as it happens. Your objective is to achieve serenity and tranquility and peace, no matter what happens in life. And you do that not by trying to changing life, but by eliminating your emotional resistances and reactions to life. Okay, to the negative side of life. Now, we're not saying you shouldn't go out and create the experiences that you want. On the contrary, we're going to show you how to do that. Once you get your psychanic universe here in order and you're operating in creator, then you begin to consciously create your life. What job would you like? How much money would you like to make? What experiences would you like to travel? Do you want a relationship? How to attract the ideal relationship to you? Okay? I see on YouTube all the problems that people have today with relationships, with finding a person that's a match for them. Okay? And you can't, it's very difficult to find your ideal other by going out and going on the internet and picking on things on Tinder or those websites. You have to attract, you have to send out to the universe that you want your ideal pareja, okay, and there's a lot of things you have to do to this, and then have that person, the universe will set up so that you meet that person. Your creation of your ideal spouse has to be done from here, not by going out and working in the physical universe. Okay, well that's aside, that's another thing. Anyway, so with the same power that you have made your negative emotions real, painful, okay? Do you admit that your anger and your depression, your anxiety, these things are real, they're strong, you feel them. With that same creator power, you will make your positive experiences, your enthusiasm, your passion, your joy, and your love, you'll make those real and powerful in your experience all the time. It's the same creator power. You're the same being. What you've done on the negative side, you can do on the positive side. Okay? The clue is discreating the negatives. Okay, number 28. True happiness is independent and irrelevant to the external events and circumstances. Okay, that should be obvious now. Okay, when you're in true happiness, you have no negatives, and you're in PEMS, positive emotions, all the time. It doesn't matter what happens in the world, whether it's positive or negative. If it's positive, you're going to enjoy it, but it's not your happiness. And if it's negative, you're going to be space and serenity to it. You'll let it pass. It always passes. Okay? So true happiness is independent of the external universe. The physical universe, that's another game. Okay? That's another game. Your happiness is psychanic. And that's another universe. And nothing in the physical universe causes things in the psychanic universe. Things in the psychanic universe do cause things in the physical universe, like attracting your ideal relationship, for example, or a job, or more money, or whatever you want. You are a creator. You came here to experience and enjoy the physical universe and to create your life. Now, you can't do it while you're at the effect of all your negative energies and negative identities especially. Okay, but as you advance in Psycanics and you go just creating all the negatives, all the things that hold you back, all the things that block your creator power, then you begin to take control. Okay, so in Psycanics we teach you how to do all of this. Number 29. True happiness transforms you from a victim and victim of the world, making you suffer, okay? Because people are in this paradigm, in the fatal hallucination, no? My spouse, my kids, my boss, they make me suffer. I'm the effect of them. I'm the victim. I'm the innocent person. Their cause, I'm effect. They're the creator. I'm the victim, okay? People live in this. They deny responsibility for their emotions and for how they feel, and they put that blame, that cause, on external things, okay? Immediately that you say, I am not responsible, I am not the cause, I am not the creator, and you assign that to something outside of yourself, then immediately you are creating yourself, in effect, in the victim. Automatically, because there's the cause, they're the cause. I'm the effect. I'm the victim. I don't have the power. They have the power. And then you have to go into indirect control, trying to change or mold them or the outside world in order to control your experience, to avoid pain and suffering and be happy. And that, we're back in the external quest, that's impossible. Okay? So you're taking responsibility, recognizing that you are cause and creator. That's the make-break point between being down here in all the drama and trauma and effect and victim and suffering, and taking true control of your psychanic universe and creating it a garden of love and happiness and serenity and peace. And from creator, then coming down into your physical universe and handling your physical universe. Okay? So we're talking about here about coming out of the fatal paradigm, I am not the creator, I am not responsible, I don't control, other things do, into, oh, I am the creator, I am cause, I control my emotions and all my psychic energies, I can create and discreate. Okay, that's where your power in life begins. That's where the drama and trauma and pain and suffering stop, and you begin to move into true happiness and into power over your life. Okay? You are the creator of all your experience, including the experience that you are not the creator of your experience when that is your experience. Okay? Now, grok this because it's a very powerful law. Human beings are living in the illusion, the hallucination, that they are not the creator of their emotions, of their mind, and of their physical life, or their relationships. Okay? They live in the experience, in the reality experience, not the truth. The reality and the experience. I'm not the creator. I'm not cause. I didn't do it. I'm not responsible. The cause, the creation, the power, all that's over there in them. Okay? I'm not the creator. And this is an experience. Being a victim is an experience, but it's also a created reality. It's not the truth. As the spiritual being that you are the creator of everything in your psychanic universe, and you are also the manifester and attractor of the things that you have in your physical universe. And if you've got a lot of negative stuff here in this psychanic universe, you're going to have a lot of negative stuff show up in your physical universe, because this physical universe is a reflection and projection of your psychanic universe. Okay. Do you have the experience that you are not the creator of your life? That you are not the creator of your emotions? That you are not the creator of your relationships? That you are not the creator of your job or the amount of money that you have? That you are not a creator of your problems and conflicts in life? Is that your experience? Check it. Do you feel that you're the effect, that you're a victim, that you are controlled by external things, by an uncaring, hostile universe, by luck, by the mother fairies, by the devil? I don't know. To what things are you assigning cause, creator, and power outside of yourself? Okay? Because if you're creating that, that's going to be your experience, and that's what's going to show up in your both universes. Not because it's the truth, but because you are creator, and that's what you're creating. You are creating being powerless, effect, victim, no control. And all that's great drama. Okay? It's not bad or wrong. It's just a creation. And if you want to live that way in drama and trauma and struggle and effort with the universe and other people, that's fine. There's nothing bad or wrong about it. It's all just experience. And the purpose of all existence, of the creation itself, is experience. There are no experiences good or bad. They're just experiences that are happy and painful. Experiences that are fruitful and those that are unproductive. Okay? So, check it. Is your experience that you are not the creator, cause, and power of your life? Now, this is not good or bad. Don't go into, oh, that shouldn't be, or horrible. Okay? Just look at it and take responsibility that I have been creating, that I am not the creator. And that has been very real for me. Okay? Now, don't confuse reality with truth. Reality is what you're experiencing. Truth is the underlying, deeper nature of things. Okay, you can't change truth, but you can create realities that block it and hide it and make you believe that that is the truth of the universe, but it's not. It's just a reality. It's just a creation. It's just an experience. All of this is explained in the books, okay? I'm really going beyond what was planned for the course and even mentioning this, okay? So you are the creator of all your experience, including the experience that you are not the creator of your experience when that is your experience, which it is for the vast majority of human beings. In Psycanics, we want to wake you up from this illusion, from this hallucination, from this mirage that you are not the creator. Okay? You are the creator of all your realities, including the reality that you are not the creator of your reality when that is your reality. Again, don't confuse reality with truth. Something can be real but not true. Okay? So, here what we want to be doing, and there are processes that help you discreate the experience, the reality that you're not creator, okay? Because it can be very real, okay? Okay, and in fact, it's kind of an awakening that you have when a person comes out of the illusion of victim and I don't have any power and I'm not the creator and other people do things to me and life happens to me and everybody is against me and look how much I'm suffering and I can't control it and the fight with the external quest and all of that stuff. And a person, wow, look at all those creations in which I've been living. And wow, you wake up and say, wow, I'm the creator of all that. And you take responsibility for it. This is where power begins. You've got to wake up from the hallucination that you're not creator, not cause in your life. And we've been talking about this in relationship to your emotions, but it applies to all aspects of your life. It applies to your mind, to your relationships, to your addictions, to your money, to whether your job is passionate or not, to your spouse, to your manifestation of your house, your vacations, whatever it is that you want to create in the physical universe. Okay, you have to wake up from the fog of the mirage. I am not the creator. You have to come out of victim into responsibility, come out of effect into cause. Okay, not just in your emotions, but with every aspect of your life. Okay, there are 12 major areas of life. I'm not going to go into them here, but you need to be in conscious creator in all of them if you want to create the life that you came to lose. You didn't come to this planet as a immortal spiritual being to suffer. You came to explore the human experience. And you can explore it on the negative side if you like, or you can do it on the positive side. Okay? Okay. Most people live in the hallucination that they are not the creator of their life, of their experience, of their emotions, of their relationships, that external events and other people are. Okay, this is called the victim mentality. And this is the result of the fatal hallucination, and it kills your power to create your life as you would have it, and it keeps you in victim, drama, trauma, unhappiness, pain, and suffering. These are not bad or wrong, they're just unpleasant. Okay? It's a legitimate experience if you want to stay in drama, trauma, and unhappiness. And I'll give you something. Working with thousands of people over the 40 years that I've been working in psychanics and essentiality, there are a lot of people that love the drama. They love being the victim. They love that experience, and they don't want to change it. I even say the majority of humans prefer drama, trauma, and UPS to being powerful creator and happiness. And that's okay. That's not bad or wrong. It's their choice. What are the experiences? You are an immortal spirit, and you came here to experience. What you experience is up to you. It can be positive and painful, or negative and painful, or positive and pleasant. Okay? The creation doesn't care. You are a free being to create whatever you want. Okay, number 34, we're getting close to the end. True happiness frees you, liberates you from the world. Okay, you need nothing from the world and from others to be happy all the time, no matter what. You create and enjoy mobs, but not because you need them or not because you have a neurosis trying to create happiness by seeking them out. And you don't need any particular outcome in a situation. You know you win some and you lose some. You can let life be and flow as it pleases. It will anyway. The only question is how much resistance, pain, and suffering do you want to generate against the negative events of life? Because all your negative emotions are resistances. Anger is resistance. Fear is resistance. Hate is resistance. Okay, they're all resistances. They look like they're resistances to negative events or triggers, but actually they're resistances to yourself because you are in a negative identity. Okay, again, this is deeper than we're going to go to in this practica, but as I said, there are more things involved here than just your emotions. Okay? So when you're in true happiness, because you've discreated all your negative emotion masses, there are no energies to trigger, and you are free of all mods. Okay? Your happiness is self-contained. It's something that's part of you psychanically. It's an experience of your being all the time, no matter what happens in the external world. And you're not trying to grab mops, and you're not resisting mods and triggers all the time, because you don't need them for happiness, and they don't cause you any pain and suffering. So you're free from the world. You no longer have to control it or mold it. You no longer have to get other people to do or say certain things to please you. Okay? You no longer need a certain thing to happen. If it doesn't happen, it's fine. You're happy either way if it does. And the paradox is, when you enter into this type of space and flow and dance with the universe, then more and more positive things start to come to you because you're no longer negative energy resisting, because negative energy is creative. All energy manifests or energizes. It doesn't matter the polarity of the energy. Negative energy is just as powerful in manifesting experiences as positive energy. So all the time that you're in negative energy, you are actually creating or manifesting or attracting what you don't want. Okay, because negative energy manifests and creates just as positive energy does. So if it's negative energy, it's something you don't want, but you're energizing it, okay? That's why things that you fear tend to manifest. Things that you resist tend to appear in your life. Okay? So when you're free of the world here, and you're not grasping at mops, and you're not resisting triggers, and you have no mods, you are serene, you are tranquil, you are peaceful all the time, no matter what happens. And this increases your perceptions of what's going on, and it increases your wisdom. Okay? You ever tried to argue with somebody that was angry or fearful or depressed? They can't hear reasons. Their emotions drowns out their reasons. Okay? So true happiness is self-contained. It's not affected by events, and it doesn't need anything from the world to be happy. It can be happy with very little. Okay? It can be happy in negative situations like being in prison. Okay? It is impervious and impregnable to the physical world because it's a psychanic state of your psychanic energies, of your self-love energies that are your emotions. That's what happiness is. Okay, and when you take control of that and eliminate the negatives and create the positives, then the external world is something else. You handle that as it should be, but you don't need it neurotically, compulsively, obsessively to try to be happy, and you have no resistance to what are negative things. Somebody says something negative to you, it just flows through you. Your space, you are transparent to negative energies. Okay? So your happiness is a part of you. It's in your spiritual being, not in the physical universe. And you take it with you all the time, wherever you go, just like you've been taking your negative emotions with you all the time. Your happiness is there all the time. It's the work you have done on your internal universe to change it from the jungle in which most people live of negative energies and thoughts and things in which they don't even know what's going on in their side. They have no control. To where you have control, you've taken out the weeds and the vines and the snakes, and you've planted fruit trees and flowers. You've turned your internal universe into a garden. That's happiness. Okay? So in effect, there are two modes of living, two poles of cause and power over your experience and over your life. Okay? And these are, you are operating in creator and cause and control of your universes, psychanic and your physical universe. And this is what enables you to create true happiness. Okay? So this is one modality in which you can operate. Recognition of cause, creator, power, control. Okay? I am the creator and discreator of my emotions and of my thoughts and of my behaviors and of my relationships. Or you can continue in the illusion, I am not the creator, I am the victim of life, of what other people do and say, of what happens, of God who hates me and the devil who wants to punish me, and whatever. People live assigning cause for their problems and conflicts in life, other people, situations, whatever. Okay? And if that's the fact, you're going to be living here in mods, unhappiness, pain, suffering, and drama and trauma, resistance, fighting with life, struggling, trying to get mops, trying to stop triggers. It's, the jungle. That's what we call the jungle. Okay? So, which one of them you want to live in? Neither of them is good or bad. Neither of them is even better one than the other. It's a matter of personal choice. Some people love drama and trauma. Okay? Some people like horror movies, war movies. Okay? In the same way, some people want a life of drama and trauma. That's fine. It's personal preference. Okay. So one side of this polarity is this: true knowledge, recognition of creator. Okay, that takes me to responsibility for experience and enables me to take direct action in my psychanic universe to create and discreate my identities, my negative thoughts, and my negative emotions, and to recreate positive. Okay? Recognition of creator, and then the right knowledge, because this is where Psycanics ends. It's a science of life, a science of your psychanic universe, your non-physical energies. It's a science of what it is to be creator. And to be able to discreate, you need the knowledge, okay? Knowledge is the beginning of power, okay? Or you can stay down here living in where most humans live now, which is ignorance of being the creator, the denial of responsibility for experience. They assign cause to other things, to the world, to other people, and they live in the effect and the emotional victim of the world, of what happens, of what other people do and say. Okay? And when you are in that paradigm, in that fatal hallucination, your only ability to try to control your experience and be happiness is indirect action, which means instead of working on your universe directly, you have to go out and change others. You have to stop the triggers. You have to get the mops, okay? You're not acting directly into your Psycanic universe. You're acting indirectly, trying to change the triggers so that they don't activate your pain, and trying to get enough mops so you're happy, okay? Now this doesn't work, okay? It's ineffective, and it produces lots of frustration and all the other negative emotions, and it produces a life of drama, trauma, unhappiness, pain, and suffering, which is where most humans live. Again, it's not bad or wrong, okay? It's what do you want? Now, if you're ignorant that you're the creator, and if you don't have the right knowledge, if you don't know Psycanics, well, you really have no choice. You're going to live down here because it's the only option you have because you lack the knowledge. Okay, this is the knowledge that we're introducing you to in all of this. Okay, number 32, the Psycanics Being Transformation Technology, BTT, is a precision system to discreate your negative emotions. And the BTT is part of a greater system, which is the Psycanic Life Transformation System, which addresses everything, all your negative behaviors, your addictions, compulsions, obsessions, your relationship problems and conflicts, your manifestation of money, sex, your health. It's a complete system that goes to all the 12 areas that constitute life. Okay? Number 33. It takes the average person about 2 years of 1 hour of BTT a day to eliminate all their nears and to reach the state of serenity, peace, joy, and love all the time, no matter what. Okay? So, is this a get quick fix? Is this take a pill and you're going to feel better? No. You're going to have to learn a lot. Okay? The knowledge that we presented to you here is only an introduction to everything that you're going to have to learn, because your interior spiritual being is a complex, sophisticated instrument, and you have to learn how it works so you can take control of it. Okay? Your mind, your emotions, your relationships, your behaviors, your motivations, your love. Just love itself is more complicated than happiness. And relationships include love, so they're even more complicated than love, which is more complicated than happiness. So you're going to have to study. Okay, and then you're going to have to do the processes. The processes, you close your eyes, you go into kind of a meditative internal focused state, and then you take you think of something that makes you angry, and you take the anger and you start to experience it. Then you go behind the anger, you find the identity, you discreate resistance to the identity, and then you discreate the identity. And once you've got that discreated, the anger disappears, and then you go and you take the positive identity of who you would like to be and how you would like to feel, instead of being and feeling who you are in the anger trigger situation. Okay, if that doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it. You've got to study it. My point is, there's a lot of stuff to know. That's it's scientific, but it's not beyond the comprehension of an average person. Okay, we make it as simple as possible, and we take you through it step by step. Okay. Now, beyond those 2 years to eliminate all your negative emotions and being positive all the time, it takes about 5 years to achieve a total transformation of every aspect of your life. Your health, your money, your relationships, working only in your passion in life so that you enjoy your job or whatever it is, and above all, a spiritual awakening to yourself as an immortal spiritual being just visiting Earth. Right now, you are lost in the illusion that you are only a human being. You're in your role. your identity of human being so strongly that you have totally forgotten who you really are, which is this immortal spiritual being. Okay? So if you want to go that far into Psycanics, and then we go into essentiality, which is scientific spirituality, then we begin to wake you up from the illusion that you're only a human being, and you recover, hey, wow, I'm immortal, I'm a spiritual being of aware will. I'm part of God, I'm a child of God, and I can feel essence, the love, the infinite love and the creator energy around me all the time, and you begin to communicate it. If you want to go that far, okay? Some people just want to fix their human life. Some people just want to fix one thing. They want to eliminate a PTSD or an addiction to cocaine, or they feel guilt because they murdered somebody. We actually have people that have done that, okay? Or they want to eliminate addiction to cocaine. They just want one thing. Other people want to transform all their emotions. Other people want to transform all their human life. And other people want to actually go into the spiritual awakening. Okay, so it's up to you how far you want to go and what you want to achieve. Okay, just know that in Psycanics and then in sensuality, we have a complete system of transformation of being and life. Okay, so that was all of the 34 points that we saw through the 5 videos. I hope the summary has served you to remind and bring it all together. Okay? Congratulations on going through all and understanding all of those concepts and abbreviations and new terminology. Okay? And notice that they are critical to true happiness. Those are things that you've got to know to come out of the jungle and move into creating your life as a garden. Okay? If you haven't seen that meditation, I invite you to do the other video called What is Psycanics, in which we guide you through the meditation of jungle, transforming it to a garden. Okay? You can download a free copy of the 34 points that we just covered at the Psycanics site, which is psycanics.org. Okay? I think psycanics.com takes you there too, but we usually use psycanics.organization because we are a school. The Psycanics Science Institute, it's a school of personal development and life transformation. Okay? So the internal quest, it's time to decide. Until now, you've had only one option in life, which is the eternal quest, which is impossible of success. You've lived chasing mops and struggling with your mods. How much more of that same struggle do you want? You now have before you another option. The internal quest of learning how to create and discreate in your internal world, your psychanic universe, and so achieving true happiness. Now, you must choose which path you wish to take. You cannot not choose, because if you choose to do nothing, that's a choice. And if you choose to do nothing, you're choosing to continue to live as you do now in the jungle of UPS, mods, the external quest, the fatal hallucination, in victim, in drama, in trauma, in unhappiness, pain, and suffering. And if that's your choice, that's fine, okay? Just know that right now, you're going to either choose one of these two paths, okay? You have two roads for you, okay? One of these is to do nothing after hearing all of this and knowing that the possibility of transformation exists. You can do nothing and continue to live as you do now. Okay, nothing in your life will change. You will continue with your activations, your negative emotions, your relationship conflicts, your addictions, and your struggle and effort in life. Again, this is not bad and wrong. It's a choice that you're going to make. Okay? Or you can learn how to discreate your negative emotions, create positive emotion, and achieve true happiness all the time, no matter what. It's up to you. Okay? But like I said, you can't not choose. You now know that number 2 exists. You didn't know that before. Okay? You had no choice. But now you know that there is a path to true happiness all the time. Okay? So it's like this. Okay? You can stay on your current path and stay living down here, ignoring being the creator, creating that you're the victim, assigning cause outside of yourself, staying an emotional victim of ill, letting all the triggers activate your negative emotions, and living in lots of drama, trauma, unhappiness, pain, and suffering. Your choice. Okay? Or you can take this new path to true happiness. Okay? You can study, learn that you're the creator, and then how you are creating everything in your life, both the negatives and the positives of your creation. When a person doesn't know that they're the creator and they don't know how creation works, then obviously they can't create a lot of they want, and they create a lot of negative things that they don't want because they're out of control. They're unconscious and they don't have the knowledge, and they're like a bull in a china shop. Okay? So you have to, one, learn, understand that you're a creator, which we're trying to communicate to you with this course. And then you have to learn how creation works, how your energy works, how your emotions and your identities and love and happiness and all these things work. And then you begin to work on yourself to move from this condition of life down here, which is normal human, up into the awakened beings who operate in creator and achieve true happiness and live the life that they want. Okay? You're the only person who can do this work on yourself. You're the only person that can discreate your NIMS. Okay? Although all the people around you will benefit because you stop trying to control them. You no longer have problems and conflicts with others. You live in harmony, love, and cooperation. Okay? So one of the best things that you can do for the people that you love and the quality of your relationships with them is work on yourself. In fact, there isn't anything else you can do because you can't work on them. They have to do that work. And if you try to work on them, you try to tell them what to do, they're going to resist you and increase your problems. So the only thing you can really do to improve your relationships in all your life is work on yourself. You can't change the external world much. You have very little control over it, and even less when you're living in the jungle. Okay? So it's your happiness or your continuation of drama, trauma, and unhappiness, pain, and suffering, and of your negative emotions and minds, okay? As they say, if it's to be, it's up to me. So it's up to you, okay? So we're talking here, introducing you to the being transformation technology of Psycanics, which is part of the Psycanics life transformation system, okay? And there's this book here about it, which is titled How to Do Precision Self-Therapy to Quickly Change Anything in Your Life. And it's an introduction to the being transformation technology and an introduction to Psycanics. Okay? So, we invite you to discover this unique method. It's more than a method. It's a science, okay, a complete science based on a new understanding of what you are as a spiritual being of aware will with a Psycanic universe of non-physical energies. And that you are the creator and the discreator of these things. And just as you work in the physical universe to create your life, to build a house, to buy a car, to go to your job, and you create a garden in your couch and you wash dishes, you have to do a same type of work in this Psycanic universe of all your non-physical energies, of your mind and your emotions and your values and your behaviors and your addictions and compulsions. You have to clean all that up just as you would do if you're living in a jungle or a trash heap in the physical universe. Okay? So it's more than a method. It's a science with its own technology of application that's called BTT, Being Transformation Technology. So the science is all the theoretical knowledge, which I admit is quite a bit, but it's also fascinating. And then you have to learn the technology is how do I apply that to actually work with my energies and to discrete those. Okay? So there's a free master class about this that you can take, and you can discover more about the BTT as a tool to remove negatives and overcome limitations in your life. Okay? So invite you to take that, also to see the other videos, and of course to
Take our offer. We have an offer that includes the book, that includes online support, training courses, and various things at a very reduced price so that you can experience all this and learn how it's going on. So that's the end of what I want to say. Thank you very much for all your time and attention. And go forth into life, and if you choose to continue drama, trauma, and suffering, that's fine. If you wish to go to true happiness and creator power over your life, here's a path to it. Thank you.